30 days. That's all I had. 1 month to turn a failing score into something that could change my future. Everyone told me it wasn't possible, that you can't fix years of mistakes in just a few weeks. But deep down, I knew that this was my last chance. So I made a promise to myself: for the next 30 days, I will live, breathe, and dream the SAT. Day 1 felt like a fresh start. I had the perfect plan: wake up early, study 8 hours a day, master every section. But plans are easy when you're motivated. The real test starts when that motivation disappears. So I woke up at 6 a.m. and I sat there staring at my desk for a full 5 minutes before writing day 1 on a piece of paper. It sounds small, but that moment, that's where everything started for me. By day 3, I already felt it: the burnouts, the distractions, and everything. But every time I wanted to quit, I remembered why I started. So I broke the 30 days into missions. Week 1 was all about building the base. After 1 week, something changed though. I wasn't chasing motivation anymore. I was chasing momentum. But day 7 hit really hard. I remember looking at myself in the mirror thinking, is this really going to work? And I couldn't answer that. And that was the scariest part of all, not knowing. But that's what made it actually real. And by day 8, I wasn't feeling like the motivated students from that day 1. And it's funny, the more I studied, the dumper I felt. And I knew that I actually needed a break. Not because I was sort of lazy, but because I was a human. No one tells you this part. The burnout hits really hard, and it hits way harder than the actual test. And I was failing every mock test, and I thought I was improving, but my score said otherwise. And that's when the doubt kicked in. Maybe I wasn't smart enough. Maybe I was just wasting time. And I started questioning everything: my methods, my plan, my strategies, and even myself. But when I thought about quitting, I remembered something. Results don't come when it's easy. They come when you push through the pain. So I made a decision to stop trying to study more and start studying way smarter than that. You know what's wild? Most students don't get a low SAT math score because they're dumb, but because they have no clue what they're bad at. They solve hundreds of random, easy questions and maybe even feel productive. And that's exactly why the SAT scores stay stuck. And that's where these 13 full-length realistic SAT math practice tests come in. And those who use them improve the SAT math scores from 680 to 740, from 660 to 780, from 700 to 760. And they all use these exact 13 tests. Every test feels exactly like the real SAT, but the real power? The weakness analysis system. After every test, it breaks down your performance, not just by topic, but by skill. So go to the description of this video, click the first link to get access to the 13 SAT math practice tests and start your weakness analysis system. And if just one of these tests helps you find 2 weak spots, that's already 20 to 40 extra points right there. Even if you're already good at math, these practice tests help you a lot, because at that level, it's not about learning new formulas, but it's about finding those tiny mistakes that keep you stuck below 780. And these tests show you the small gaps that normal prep books or YouTube videos never catch. The exact things that separate a 700 from an 800. And here's the best part. The first test is completely free. Sign up, take the test, and get your personalized weakness analysis report for free. So click the first link in the description, start your free test, and begin boosting your SAT math score today. And this was the shift that changed everything for me. Day 16, the restart. I realized I didn't need to study everything. I just needed to master what mattered most on the SAT. So I made a list of all my weak points from that mock exam and I studied them really hard. And instead of solving 100 questions in a day, I solved 30, but most importantly, perfectly. And I checked every mistake I've done, I wrote down why I made it, and I actually fixed that mistake. And for the first time in 2 weeks, I saw progress. My score jumped by 60 points. And that small win reignited everything. And I started treating it like a sport. Training my focus for the SAT, my discipline, my patience. And if you're watching this, stop cramming. Make sure to start analyzing because the SAT does not reward your effort, it rewards your strategy. And when I hit day 20, I hit a wall again. My scores flatlines. That's when I learned the hardest truth. Sometimes you're doing everything right and you still feel stuck. But that doesn't mean you're failing. It just means that you're about to level up really soon. 25 days in, my habits were locked in, my brain felt really sharp, and I knew I wasn't the same person who started this journey. But the real test wasn't the SAT. It was me versus me. Day 26, I failed again. 690. It hurt so much, but it didn't destroy me. And that's when I realized failure only hurts when you're still learning how to lose. 4 days left. Everything I've done was leading to this. Every mistake, every late night, every page of notes, and it all mattered now. I decided to simulate the real thing. Full test on Blue Book, no excuses. And unfortunately, that test broke me, but it also built me. The night before the SAT, I didn't study, I just sat there thinking about everything, the mistakes, the self doubt, all the midnight panic, and I told myself, you're ready. You've done enough studying for the SAT. Day 30, test day. When I started the test on Blue Book, everything slowed down. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't scared of the SAT. I didn't even want to open it. My hands were shaking. 780 math. I actually did it. And if you're watching this and you're feeling stuck, don't wait for the perfect time. There is literally no perfect time. There's just you right now deciding whether to start or not. Because if you give yourself 30 days, really give them, you will never be the same person again.